somebody's gotta do it. And it's right about time he did. Nickname Watchman without enough to slimy squid. And he'll have you know that's pretty low. But I'm not white punching the stairs of the 90s kid. Second place crossovers, one shots and tie-ins. Linkara stands in reality defiance. The top of the fourth wall looking down at us all. Of course, fucking everything about science! There would be better books on his show, but his heart is sold to Mephisto. And now there's nothing left to do but hear the screamings at the bottom of the barrel with you. Linkara, because a man, where's that on his arm? Linkara, can't seem to fix the continuity alarm. Linkara, rock and roll, sing up some fella in a tux. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
We are squinching the space as much as possible. Tom, you're sticking my cool. Thank you.
Okay, how are we doing back there? Is everyone ready? Yeah. Alrighty. Are you ready to rock?
Yeah! Quite possibly.
Who's this?
But Batman doesn't want us to.
Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall Live. Sorry, I said it again. Hello and welcome to House of Atop the Fourth Wall Live. Time I ever screwed up on the name. If this is your first time at one of my live shows, or in fact seeing Atop the Fourth Wall in any form, just remember, you're too late, your souls already belong to me. Now, the comments for the last live show had people saying that they were upset about how many people talked during it. I don't really care all that much if you react vocally. Just try to make sure your comments are funny too. Lord knows they're probably funnier than mine, at least. Also, since I'm reading from a script, I apologize in advance if I flub a line or slur my words. Now, being in Canada for the first time in my life, naturally, I should review a comic that takes place in Canada. But instead of doing that, I decided to review something about toys from the 80s. Allow me to introduce you to Spiral Zone. Spiral Zone was based on a Japanese toy line made by Bandai from 1985 to 1988. In 1987, there was an animated series based on it, and Tonka acquired the license to it and made new toys. And naturally, for a series with such staying power as this, that I'm sure you've all heard of this before, there was a comic book tie-in series.
Oh dear.
It lasted 4 issues and was made by DC. Yep, Marvel got to produce comics based on Transformers and G.I. Joe. DC got to make comics based on Spiral Zone. So let's look at our cover, which is really just a single comic panel crushed down so they can fit their very silly logo on the top. It's like they accidentally didn't fill in the rest of the background for the cover, so just smushed it down to this one space. And what does this comic promise us? A bunch of guys in face paint holding back a guy in armor. Your father doesn't want to join us. Don't struggle, Dad. It's for the best. Join us, Father. There is no resisting the Clown Society.
Clowns are nice. Bobo! Call Bobo!
We open in the far distant future of 2007.
Well, I remember it now.
Barely 3 months ago, the brilliant but evil scientist known as Overlord succeeded in enveloping half the world's surface within a sinister spiral of force as the opening gambit to dominate the Earth. You know, as opposed to those really nice, genuinely compassionate spirals of force. The diabolical contrivances he devised to create and maintain this spiral zone. Ooh, I get the title now! Known as the Zone Generators, spew forth noxious clouds of mysterious, crackling energy that sap those exposed to it of their free will. Ah, not unlike the effect of watching Jersey Shore for more than 5 minutes. transforming them into mindless automatons, carrying out Overlord's demands. The face paint thing, well, we think that's just a fad to try to make themselves look cool in front of Overlord, but it's totally not gonna work. By the way, this is apparently taking place on the moon, I guess, since we can see the Earth and all of its spirals in the sky. Or maybe Overlord just felt like being a jerk and started projecting a big image of the Earth for everyone to see while they slaved away as zombies.
What a tease.
But one band of intrepid heroes wages relentless warfare against the attempts of Overlord and his henchmen, the nefarious Black Widows, to extend his spiral zone over the entire planet. So what's stopping him from doing it now? Those are some pretty big rings around the planet already. You'd think he'd just set up a few more of them to finish up the hole.
He's a completionist.
No. He's waiting for Sonic to come collect them. Think about it. This is the spiral zone. This is the last level.
Anyway, our heroes are called the Zone Riders. Let's introduce them. First up is Commander Dirk Courage.
What's wrong with that?
Dirk Courage.
He's a pansy. He's obviously a pansy.
Also, Sergeant Tank Schmidt. Despite the fact that he's named Tank, he's actually the guy on the lower right riding the motorized unicycle. Lieutenant Hirotaka, trademark. His parents were afraid someone would steal his name, so they made sure to actually include that as part of it. Lieutenant Max Jones, as played by Steve James of American Ninja fame. And finally we have Corporal Katerina Anastasia, aka the Girl. On the other side we have our villains, the evil Black Widows. Kind of a marketing fail there, I think. Overlord himself, who of course decided, I've taken over the planet, so damn it, I'm gonna wear the hell out of this face paint, and nobody can stop me!
Scaramantula.
Bandit, who is just a bandit, I guess. Do you think they pulled their names out of a hat or something when they were deciding on their evil bad guy names?
One was called Dr. Nefarious.
Then there's Reaper, who is not feared by the seasons. Then again, who can be afraid of this guy? Somewhere along the line he decided, okay, I've got a mohawk, a goatee, and a unibrow. What else do I need? Oh right, the thing that goes over part of my face to hide my nose. Finally we have Razorback, aka Two-Face, and Duchess Dyer, aka female Two-Face. You gotta love how this was laid out, by the way. The headshots of our heroes are on the left, where all the evil Black Widows are, and the headshots of the evil Black Widows are on the side of the Zone Riders.
We'll fix it in post.
The two groups are fighting inside of Paris, which we're informed is half inside of a spiral zone and half inside. Overlord really went half-assed with his world conquest plans, didn't he? Tank Schmidt thinks to himself, right in the middle of a battle no less, about his backstory. He's lost his son somewhere in the zone, and we even get a flashback of him playing soccer with his son, punctuated with awkward dialogue. It is your turn to play goalie, father. I do not know how to use contractions, father. Also, this is a pet peeve of mine, but does any kid ever refer to their father as father? I mean, no, not dad or daddy, just anything. Just father. It's just weird to me, like how a robot would act. Already you are becoming too quick and agile for your poor old man. Then again, maybe they're both robots. Hard to say.
Maybe that explains why they can't use contractions.
They're Daleks.
Data, actually. I'll be by your side soon, Joey. Sooner than you think. Only yesterday I received an anonymous tip informing me of your whereabouts. I really have to thank that Nigerian prince after conspiring. The very instant I'm able, I'll fly to your rescue.
Hey,
yeah, because anonymous tips are just the most reliable thing ever when half the planet is under the control of a supervillain.
but you did learn contractions.
Crime Stoppers.
After Tank Schmidt gets attacked, Commander Hank Bravery steps up to defend him. Uh-oh, no way am I gonna go up against Dirk Courage one-on-one. I'm scramming out of here while the scramming's good.
Was he born in the 50s?
Sorry, dude, the scramming expired like 2 days ago.
I just can't get over him.
Hang in there, good buddy. So in 2007, we were talking like 1970s CB radio operators. Breaker, breaker, we got Overlord in his spin zone coming up on the big slab. Better put one foot on the floor and head back to Patch City before they put a bear in the air. Come on, man.
I thought US-1 was Marvel.
Sometime later, within the Rocky Mountain headquarters of Mission Command Central, the multinational scientific and military brain trust set up by the UN to combat the menace of the Spiral Zone. Okay, guys, from the looks of things, Overlord has about 4 guys working for him. Instead of setting up an expensive task force with guys who wear laser jetpacks, maybe he should have just bombed the hell out of him. Just saying. Anyway, Tank Schmidt is being examined by the medical staff, who have clipboards attached to their shoulders, because science. Himmel, you white-coated fanatics have devised more tortures than Overlord.
You magnificent bastard, have read your book!
Yep, those white-coated fanatics, in orange. After they finish their tests, we see he's, chained to his bed. Seriously, look at that. He's got restraints all over him. Are we sure the Zone Riders are the good guys?
You're gonna ride the zone.
You win. Also, Professor Wiley on the left here is his own shoulder-mounted clipboard, but it's curved because, I don't know, maybe it's a mirror and he's afraid he'll forget what he looks like. Anyway, Commander Tom Fearless has come to visit and check up on Tank while also wearing a big harness on him. Ah, the far-out fashions of 2007!
We've certainly come a long way.
Later, Commander Harvey Daring is wondering to himself about their last battle. But why did Overlord launch that frontal assault in Paris when stealth and cunning are more his style? Oh yeah, just look at this guy. A man like this, sneakier than Solid Snake.
Nobody can see the color red.
Dirk begins to wonder if this was a distraction to keep them from something important, especially since Bandit wasn't part of the attack force. We cut to Canada in the summertime. I kid, it's Minnesota in the summertime. Actually, it's the remote Arctic, a region apparently unaffected by the Spiral Zone. By the way, every single time they call it the Spiral Zone, I keep thinking this is going to turn into some weird Uzumaki fanfic. So, Uzumaki, really.
Can I change to the bed?
Bandit of the evil Black Widows has come to take control of the Eskimos in the region. Naturally, being in the Arctic, he's wearing a huge Sontaran helmet, but no protection for his exposed arms. Also, all of his dialogue should sound like this. Greetings, I came here to start a truce and friendship as an emissary from the beloved world leader Overlord.
They killed
However, the Eskimos can understand him despite that and try to run when he says he works for Overlord. However, Bandit stops them by firing the Zone Effect Cannon. chemical cannon explodes amid the panicky villagers, they swiftly find themselves becoming confused, disoriented, their wills quickly deteriorating.
It's a raid.
Ugh. Now that I think about it, the Black Eyed Peas really are good singers. So here's a dumb question. If they have handheld cannons that work just like the Spiral Zone clouds or whatever, why the hell has Overlord been having a tough time taking over the rest of the world?
Of course.
Shut up.
Several hours later, the zonification process is well underway. In their present mental state, they will carry out whatever tasks we assign them. Good! Let's begin! First priority, build a target so I can buy a jacket. I'm freezing my ass off here. Bandit contacts Overlord and check this dude out. I may criticize the face paint, but dude's got a rockin' setup with a huge comfy chair, a 200-inch TV screen, random buttons on the arms of the chair. He's living the dream. He also apparently decides that this is the best time to exposit about his backstory to Bandit. Not so very long ago, when I, as Dr. James Bent, became the youngest scientist ever to assume command of NASA's Military Research Space Facility. Overlord's real name is James Bent. Dude, you have one of the easiest campaign slogans ever! It especially works because you're using mind control. Get bent! The other scientists stood in awe of my genius, all except Dr. Harold Lawrence, General McFarlane's second in command, who regarded my ideas with skepticism and suspicion. Dr. Bent, I don't get why we need to make twin clones of Hitler. Don't be so skeptical, damn it! When I showed him my radical new plan for bringing about complete global peace by destroying the free will of every human being on Earth, the narrow-minded fool turned me down cold!
The nerve!
Gee, I wonder why he did that.
Dear Diary, the second in command's a big, meaty, stupid head. I will lose my mind laser and make him lick from a dog bowl.
But did I abandon my great dream? No! I labored on in secret and defected to the Soviet Union, offering my ingenious plan to them. Fearing a global Armageddon that would annihilate mankind, they rejected my scheme as well. Okay, seriously, nobody is interested in the mind control ray. Not even as a weapon in the Cold War? Really?
It's 2007.
Still a few years ago.
Of course, but it's so much more peaceful in 2007.
The Bush years.
I'm not getting into that. Momentarily thwarted, I returned to NASA. When Lawrence used his influence to assign me to a relatively low-level position, I vowed revenge! Dude, maybe you got demoted because you tried to sell a mind control ray to the Soviets! I'm actually really surprised you were allowed to get a job at NASA again anyway. I would think that might make it difficult to get good references on your resume.
What do mind control rays have to do with astrophysics?
Because science!
There you go, I was waiting for that.
So, long story short, he commandeered a space shuttle and launched his Spiral Zone generators, allowing him to take control of half the planet. And although the entire United Nations have joined forces to oppose me, they have proven powerless to undo the deadening zonification that envelops half the world. Damn it! No matter how many sanctions we impose on the Spiral Zone, it doesn't seem to halt the mind-controlling supervillain.
That fits a price.
After establishing the Chrysler Building in New York City as my personal headquarters, thanks for the clarification, Overlord. I thought you meant the Chrysler Building in Ottawa. I formed a new group of lieutenants, the Black Widows, to aid me in carrying out my noble quest to dominate the Earth.
Of course!
Wait a second. Why did he laugh right there? My God, people! Do you think that the guy with red face paint who deployed mind control machines across half the world could actually have less than noble intentions with his plan to take over the world? No. Nah, I'm probably just being paranoid. Together, we shall prove invincible! And together, we can be justice! You know, Overlord, you never hung up on Bandit. You've just been expositing this whole time to him instead of letting him get on with his job. You're not a very good manager, are you, Overlord?
He's got a good plan.
Meanwhile, back with Commander Harold Adventurous, he's meeting with his boss while in his full combat gear because, well, we've got to sell the toys somehow. Photographs taken by one of our orbiting surveillance satellites indicate some sort of high-rise construction project taking shape in the Arctic. It may be nothing, some sort of false alarm. I mean, it could just be Captain Tax Time expanding his Arctic base, but usually he calls before he starts doing that. Commander Dirk Dick Dauntless, after wondering to himself what Overlord could be up to, thinks back to how the Zone Riders were first formed. Congratulations, all of you! After a worldwide search, you 5 have been chosen to constitute an elite strike force to wage a continuing war of attrition against Overlord and his Black Widows. You 5 adults with attitude will fight against and her army of putties. Also, just a guess, but I'm pretty sure the writer of this comic doesn't know what a war of attrition is. Here's a hint. If you've only got 5 guys fighting against the mind control army of half the world, chances are a war of attrition isn't going well for your side. To enable you to function effectively within the zone, each of you has been equipped with a powerful suit of armor, constructed of the critically scarce element Neutron 90. The armor is being constructed out of an element, huh? Of course! Don't you know anything about science? You gotta wait for these things. I might already make the joke. Back ahead. You know, I have been informed that he apparently changed his underpants.
Well, it happens, you know.
Back at headquarters, Tank is still strapped to the table and is irritated that he's just lying there and not doing anything. Then again, I guess the restraints are made of tissue paper, because he just rips them all out without any sign of effort.
Why didn't he do that before?
Please explain to me what the point of restraints are if they don't actually restrain someone. Seriously, he's not wearing his armor, and I remind you that they do not have super strength. Anyway, Tank says he's going to take advantage of all that off-duty time he has to go into a spiral zone and try to rescue his son. Back in the Arctic, Commander Blake Valiant is getting closer to the coordinates in his ship. No way can I hope to see the target with my naked eye at this altitude. Perhaps if I took off this stupid helmet, that would help my vision. Also, by the way these panels are arranged, he's apparently flying upside down. I guess Dirk Courage drank a few too many bottles of courage before flying. Anyway, he fights some robot planes. A million points to the people who got that reference. If you don't, then just pretend Highway to the Danger Zone is playing instead.
Spiral zone, danger zone, danger zone.
There you go.
Come on, Dudley, do right.
He gets the recon shots of the base and then flies away. Unfortunately, despite this being made in the 80s, the plane does not transform into a robot. We cut to Tank hiding his big-wheeled cycle while he enters the dreaded spiral zone. I'd better hide my Zone Rider cycle here and move ahead on foot. It'll be harder to play card games without it, but I'll manage somehow.
Card games on motorcycles!
There we go. go. This sector's crawling with zone troopers. All the same, I'm keeping my particle beam weapon on stun. Zone troopers, after all, are only ordinary civilians whose minds have become so pliable that they'll do anything for Overlord, including kill for him. Hey, Steve, working hard. Hardly working, Bob. In his obsessive drive to dominate the Earth, that fiend has even enslaved our children. Damn you, Justin Bieber! Anyway, Tank spots his son in the crowd. However, he's quickly found by the zone soldiers and a firefight erupts. He tries to grab his son and run, but it seems Overlord is already there, waiting next to his cycle. Duchess, take his weapons! So, Tank, you want to try using some of those weapons? I mean, look at them. It doesn't even look like Overlord is sporting a pistol or anything. Anyway, Overlord exposits that it was he who provided the anonymous tip and put a tracking device on the kid. Wait a second. You mean that anonymous tip was a trap? What a twist!
It's a trap!
We never could have seen that one coming.
Don't be sad, Father. Soon you'll be a zoner, just like me. That's it, young man. Go to your room. Oh, wait. And so our comic ends in the Arctic, where Bandit and his goons are building a giant statue. Courage must have succeeded in filling his camera with reconnaissance shots. Aren't you worried? Worry? Haha! Why should I? It's only a harmless statue we're building here, isn't it?
Now the people will know he was here.
What do you, the people at home, think? Anyway, this comic, okay, it's stupid. Remarkably stupid and very poorly written, but at the same time, it's full of that glorious 80s cheese to it that other properties at the time had. Still, the premise has a little bit going for it, despite the goofy execution. That's all I've got for you, so thank you, everybody!